Good morning, welcome back to Phil's Camping Reviews. My name is Phil. It's been raining for 2 days non-stop. It's just been too wet. So I've taken 2 days break, but we're back at it now. So today we're going to be working on the fuel side of my diesel heater. Continuation, part 2. Let's not waste any time, shall we? I want to take me time to do the filming so you can join me on this journey of setting this up. Hopefully it's going to help you in deciding which diesel heater to go for and how to install, and just show how simple these are to actually install them yourself. Step 11, it says mount the long black fuel line joiner and fuel filter to the fuel tank using the mini clamps provided. So one of these packets here would be number 1, fuel unit. Now one thing I've noticed is the holes in these are really small. They do supply you with these excellent fuel line clips, as you can see here. Why they have it so tight that it's virtually impossible to slide that fuel line in is beyond me. When you've got an excellent clamp like this, you can clamp onto it. So I'm going to get a drill soon and drill these out up to about 20 mils, because that's what they suggest, 20 mils, just a tad, so I can get that fuel line in a lot easier, because it's going to be a lot harder to do underneath the camper trailer, because I'm going to have to start crawling under the camper trailer. Mount the long black fuel line joiner to the fuel tank using the mini clamps provided. Oh wow, something must be amiss here. Look at the size of that hole compared to that. There's no way in the world that's going to go over there. So unless there's a different fuel line, I don't know how that's going to fit over that. Impossible, guys. Let me look into this. So I found a solution. As you can see, I've got the fuel filter and the hose connected to that valve. And the way I did it, I had to grab my drill and drill that internal diameter hole on the black fuel line a little bit bigger, well actually a fair bit larger, and not too big though, not too large to the extent that it's easy to slide on. I still wanted a really firm fit, so it still took quite a fair bit of pressure, strength to get those cable, to get this line over. On this one, no problems at all. I didn't have to drill internally, but on this side I did have to drill internally, and in fact I'm going to do that with the rest, particularly when I've got to join them under the camper trailer. So that's step 11 completed, out of the way. And one thing you need to make sure is you make sure you follow the flow of direction of the fuel filter. If you notice here, there's an arrow pointing that way, so it's pointing towards the diesel heater, so it must point towards the diesel heater. So that's the direction of the flow of the fuel, and you can see it's got an extremely good, I mean, man, I tell you what, this is one fancy looking fuel filter with gold covering. How awesome, pretty that is. Shame it's going to be hidden under. Alright, so next step, I have a feeling we are going to install step 12, mount the fuel tank, just as I presumed, into position firmly. In the image below, the fuel tank has been mounted to a black checker plate between the gas bottles. And then the next step after that, we are actually going to start working on the fuel pump. How exciting! We're getting there, guys. There's 22 steps here. I believe we're just past the halfway step. We're just past step number 11. So it's exactly 11 steps to go. How cool. We're getting there, halfway through the install, at least according to the manual here. So right, let's go install this. So we're going to mount the fuel tank right here. I think it's the ideal spot for this camper trailer. So in order to do that, we need to remove my 2 jerry cans of diesel here. Well, I was going to say unfortunately, but if you could call it unfortunately, it's probably fortunate in some ways that there is diesel here, but these are full of diesel, so there's quite a bit of weight in this. Certainly would have been easier if it was empty. Luckily, they're not too heavy. So now we've got plenty of space here, so I'll go grab the fuel tank. Now it doesn't mention anywhere in the instructions, but I'm presuming that over here we are going to need to install one of these short black rubbers, fuel lines. So let's do that now, so we don't have to do it crawling underneath the trailer itself. Extremely tight fit. Could almost grab the drill bit and drill this bit here, but if you just persevere, eventually it will go in. Now these lines are also going to be covered with conduit. So conduit is supplied in the kit, which is awesome. Thank you, AuFocus. Okay, let's go put a clamp on these mini hose clamps over the top of this. Secure that in place. And the fuel line will get attached to this here. If I had to remove my guard here, the stone guard, so it's only 2 bolts there that I had to loosen and it just slid out. So great design that. So I've got a lot more room here now, and I've lifted up this here a little bit more. In fact, I'll go a little bit higher. So being careful, noting that I do, that's about as high as we can go. So it's going to be mounted right here. So we are going to now mark the holes where I'm going to mount this. Now, this is going to be a temporary fuel tank, because eventually I am going to design one of my jerry cans to be used as the fuel tank. There we go. I reckon 4 should be plenty. And I've got those marked. So I'm going to use a punch. Where's the hammer? So that's step 13, no, I believe 12, completed. Mounted the fuel tank. How awesome does that look? So let's put the jerry cans back now. I'm going to put it back the way it was. You can see it's not exactly very easy putting these in place. If you go back and check my channel, I put a short video up recently showing a fuel bowser that I use to transfer the diesel out of this. Done. Let's go. Right, now that we've completed the installation of the fuel tank, and I'm sure you'll agree what an awesome looking fuel tank that is. Very happy with that. But like I mentioned before, I'm actually looking into incorporating, well, modifying one of those 20 litre jerry cans of diesel as a fuel can, as a fuel source for my diesel heater. That way, that will eliminate me having to fill up a smaller jerry can off the larger jerry cans. So we'll do a video on that when that day comes. I'd say it shouldn't be too far, possibly next week or the week after. I'm going to look at doing something like that. So I'm actually looking into the parts that I need, the piping that I need to be able to do that. And it doesn't look too difficult. So we've completed step 12 and step 13. Step 13 says we need to find a location for the fuel pump. So probably won't do that till tomorrow or the day after. And we'll look for a location for the fuel pump for that. But what we'll do right now is we will prepare the fuel pump ready for installation under the camper trailer. Before mounting the actual pump, mount the short black rubber joiners to each end of the fuel pump. Alright, so we got two short black joiners here, left. And what I'm going to do now is mount this onto the fuel pump on either end, and that will be then today's video. I will edit this and get this uploaded, and then the following videos in the next day or two, possibly 3 days, I've got a few things coming up in the next couple of days, we are going to go under my camper trailer and we're going to start to install the fuel lines. And then we're going to arrange the exhaust. So we need to make sure that's arranged somewhere so it exhausts the carbon monoxide and etc. away from the camper on the other side. So that's very important. And then we mount the air input as well. And after that, we got the ducting to do, the inlet and the outlet for inside for the diesel heater. And then last but not least is to connect the battery, the terminals up onto the battery, because the wiring's already made. So all we got to do is just connect that onto the battery and then we're done. Switch her on. So going to bring you all along for that. But for now, let's get this one done. So that's what the fuel pump looks like. So you've got an input and you've got an output. I'm not too sure which is the output yet. I believe the output might be the side where it plugs into. I don't know, we've got to check. Because this needs to be mounted around about a 15 to 30 degrees angle when we mount this under the camper trailer. But we'll see that in the next video. So right now, what we're going to do is mount those rubber hoses on the end here. Number 1 fuel line. So inside here are 2 of these clamps. Tell you what, slowly but surely we are starting to run out of parts here, which means one thing, we are getting close to completing this build. Now this is not easy, but you got to somehow press this on. I find grab good hand grip and twist as you go on, like so. Do the same on the other side, making sure you remove. Okay, Very tight fit, guys. Very tight. Ooh, this one's super duper tight. It's not that better tight than loose. Oh, okay. That's that one done. Now we'll grab a screwdriver. So let's close this up. And last but not least, completed. So now that is ready for assembly. There's another video completed. Put everything back where they belong in the packet, so that way as you go along you don't want to take gear out for these packets and misplace them, put them in the wrong places, because then you'll get confused and you don't know what the next steps are. So awesome, completed, all ready for the next step. Give me another day or two, hopefully tomorrow I'll get something done here and then back onto it again on Monday, because the following day is Sunday, so I won't be working on this on Sunday. I've got other plans for this coming Sunday. Even though this is fairly new to me, I'm picking things up as I go along, and the excellent instructions in these books makes all the difference. So guys at AuFocus, well done on there. So where are we up to? We are up to step 13 out of 22 steps. Mind you, some of these steps are very minor. It's not a lot that needs to be done. So we are over halfway. I tell you what, this weather is weird, eh? Because now that I'm almost completed this installation of this diesel heater, the warm weather's come back. I can see I'm in t-shirt right now. It's been quite fairly warm today, but it's beautiful though. It's actually lovely. It's not too hot, not too cold, but definitely too hot to be sitting inside a camper with the heater on. So let's hope we get some cooler weather in the next few days so we can test this out. But even then, even so, I'm still going to test this out and you'll be with me. Yeah, I'm going to film the first time I fire this diesel heater up. And apparently when you first fire them up, you got to prime it as well. And I've been reading a fair bit about it. Apparently it can be a bit of a challenge to get these primed. This one here, they've made it a lot easier to prime than what I've understood some of the other cheaper brands are. So, but we'll show you that. We'll have a video just on that. So till then, hopefully that'll be sometime next week. So till then, look after yourself, Cheers.